Well, here is my postmortem on the 2024 presidential election and my thoughts on how it happened and why it happened the way it did. Well, in 2016, it was sort of an anomaly that Trump won. She was going against Hillary. And frankly, a lot of folks were surprised that he won. He didn't win the popular vote, but ultimately he won the Electoral College and became president. And in 2020, the COVID hit. And the Democrats changed the rules in many, many states on how people could vote. And it allowed people to, well, bend the rules, break the rules, call it what you will. Massive change of the rules of how to vote. Each state, controls their vote. Each state does. And the Democrats in those states, well, they literally said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Did that result in a fair election? Many would say no. If you want to argue and say, yes, it did, well, that's your call. I'm just telling you what happened. So that was 2020. And then 2024 came along, and well, the whole time from 2020 to around 2024, Donald Trump was back in the race. People said he couldn't win. And they started calling him every single name you could think in the books, and that wasn't just the start of things. Now, it was a primary for Republicans, and a lot of folks were running, and once again, Donald Trump came to the top. But then the lawfare started. He was hit with more crimes, more accusations, more felony counts than anybody of his age in the history of modern mankind. States literally went on and said, we're going to take him off the ballot because he's an insurrectionist. Maine tried it. Colorado tried it. Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. So they filed lawsuits against him. People in New York went after lawsuits that were so ridiculous, but they knew in their city they were all Democrats, so that attorney was going to win in his lawsuit. They tried every single trick in the book, and then people tried to assassinate him. 20-year-old kid on a rooftop in Butler, Pennsylvania? What is a 20-year-old kid doing? How did he get the mindset to do that? We still don't know. We still don't know. So all of this stuff was going on. And then you had the newspapers and the media. Now, newspapers are a dying commodity, please understand that. But you still had the Washington Post, you had the New York Times, you had the LA Times, you had newspapers around the United States, and they were still saying outrageous things. USA Today, I read some of the columns, just outrageous. All right, you had those. Trouble is, most people don't read newspapers anymore. So then you had TV, ABC, NBC, CBS. They were all in the tank. I mean, let's say they were all in the tank. CNBC, MSNBC, CNN. I mean, I could go down the list. But something else was going on that a lot of people didn't realize. Many folks today do not read a newspaper. Many folks today don't watch regular TV like we used to. Now, many folks today have gone into social media and the internet. And that's where people were starting to get their information. And then there were certain, you could go on to certain internet channels, YouTube, TikTok, WhatsApp. You could go to all sorts of different places and read all sorts of different opinions. So if you wanted to go onto social media and follow somebody's podcast, you could see what they had to say. Joe Rogan, I'm going to give you one example. He had 155 million subscribers. Things changed. Younger folks were saying, hey, we're listening to this stuff, and they did. And as a result, regardless of what TV did, what the people at the networks did, Donald Trump ended up winning, and he beat his opponent by over 5 million votes. First time that's been done since the 1980s. He changed the topic, changed the conversation, and above all, he changed the way people learned about political candidates. That's something we have learned, how things have changed. Maybe it'll change in the future. One never knows. But right now, Donald Trump played the game, and he beat the other guys.